I'm a slave for you.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to another car review. And today we're in a 2014 Mini Cooper S. We're getting straight at it. The light over here. We're gonna figure out what she does before I tell you anything about the engine. How about that for a change? Alrighty then, now this is what I like in cars when you get backfires like that. Now okay, so as promised, the engine in this is a 2-liter turbocharged engine that makes in stock form 189 horsepower and 207 pound-feet of torque. Now this one of course is modified, and that exhaust is a Ramus exhaust. It also does have a catless downpipe, and the JB4 tune that is on this is a stage 2 tune. So it makes a ton more power than the stock version does, and that's probably why I like this thing so much, because it moves and it moves quickly. I love that, man. You go from 3 to 4 and you hear that exhaust just pop. It's freaking crazy fun. Now this is not the first Mini that I drove in my life. The first one was a 2002 John Cooper Works, or 2003, either or. And of course that one was still powered by a 1.6 liter supercharged engine, whereas over here it's a 2-liter turbocharged engine. As far as performance figures on these, 0 to 60 is mid 6-second range, and the quarter mile is dispatched in about 14 seconds. Let's try these brakes out here. Nice pedal feel. Ooh, I hear a little bit of fluttering of that turbocharger. I love that crackle in the exhaust, man, on upshifts. That is absolutely amazing. So I'm happy to report that that handling of that Mini Cooper S Works that I drove first is still there. Now this one is a little bit softer. That John Cooper Works is of course a whole lot harder than this. God, I wish I was into YouTube filming back in the day doing car reviews, because that John Cooper Works would have been a whole lot of fun too. But this really brings me back, gives me that same feeling, and that is an extreme good thing, because these cars over the years, like most cars really, because of safety regulations and all that other stuff, have gotten a lot bigger. Now of course you cannot compare it to the original one that came out in '59, because that was really compact. Let's put it in sport. This thing accelerates so much harder in sport mode, guys. There is such a difference. Like, I got on it the first run and I didn't really feel much of torque steer, but now I had to fight it a little bit. So it's definitely a whole different animal right now. It's freaking hilarious. boys. I love this car. I really, really do. I mean, it pulls so nicely, also very linearly, and I also feel the difference so much. When I got on it in the regular mode, it's like there is a lot more lag. Now the turbo seems more awake, if that's a thing. It's just freaking crazy. Let's talk about the exterior styling for a bit. I really love the way these look because they look like the old cars. The same reason why I love the retro styled muscle cars, or pony cars, like the Mustang and the Challenger and the Camaro. Then the Mustang lost it, the Challenger and Camaro, they still got it. So does this one. And some other cars, some other iconic cars do the same, like a Porsche, although a Porsche kind of looks like a Beetle, and then the Beetle also looks like the Bugatti Veyron and the Chiron. Never mind. Now, some people say that they don't like the front end on this anymore. I think it's a little bit more aggressive than it was in the previous generations. Of course, when you look at the rear end, you still have the iconic center exhaust. The thing that I love the most about the Mini is the racing heritage that it has, because it was literally a giant slayer. The only thing you have to do is look up some videos and you can see the one that I remember, the Mustang versus the Mini, and the Mini just ate him up in the corner. You know, straight line, of course, the Mustang went right past him, but that Mini just stayed right on him, and that is the cool thing, and that pretty much tells you what the car was all about. The racing heritage, the rallying heritage. That car is just absolutely amazing. And I love that this thing still has that go-kart feel. And the weight on these is also not too crazy at all. Look, a lot of cars get 3,000 pounds. This one, yeah, with me in it, it's gonna be 3,000 pounds, but it still weighs under 3,000 pounds. So all that horsepower that you have now actually gets a lot of use. There's one thing that I don't like about this one. The old one that I drove had the speedo right in the middle. Here you have the sat nav. Now, of course, that makes a whole lot more sense to have your sat nav right there instead of a big old speedo, but I like that. That was a cool touch, and you know, it's still clear to see how fast you're going because this has an HUD that says 0 miles an hour now because we're at the light, but it was cool seeing that big old needle just move up in speed as you went. I do have to make mention that there's some JCW stuff on here, and it's the steering wheel, which is nice. They don't have the flat bottom, which is kind of crazy, but it's still a very nice steering wheel and it grips nice in your hands. And on the exterior, you have the JCW wing on the back, which gives the car a little bit more attitude on the back. And then definitely when you look at it from the side, it helps the side profile too. So quick and so much fun to drive. I mean, this is what it's all about. You get a hot hatch, you want to have experience like that, you know. The Golf that I reviewed had the flappy pedal gearbox. This has, of course, a 6-speed manual, and you know, I gotta tell you, that DSG is quick. It's lightning quick. You don't lose any forward thrust with that, but there's just something cool about having a stick shift in a car like this, and honestly, I prefer this over DSG any day. Oh God, I love that. And I just love that you can hear this turbocharger spooling. And then the exhaust is also very, very nice. It's not super loud at all, but it shows you presence. And I think that is the key to having a great exhaust. Nothing that just splits your ears all the time. This definitely does. Now, right now, the famed 60 miles an hour, we're 2,200 RPM, maybe 2,300 RPM, and it's completely fine right now. And also on acceleration, it makes its presence known, but it's not overly loud. It's the perfect mix, in my opinion. There's another thing that I really do like about the interior of this car, and it's the lighting customization. Now over here, that center ring, I told you that they lost the speedo, which is in my mind an oversight, but there's something else over here. There's a white ring that moves moves up or down where you are in the rev band. So that's kind of cool. Now, of course, part of the interior is also these seats. Now, I wish they were just a little bit snugger, but if you have a proper seating position, they keep you in place pretty nice. So it's kind of what you wish. And I've driven so many cars now that now when I get into a sporty car, I expect to be completely encapsulated, and these seats just don't do that. Now, as far as usability on these cars, it's always excellent because it's a hatchback, so you can just open up the back, lower the seats, and there's a ton of room to store your stuff. And of course, over here, we got to do this thing. Kyle, thank you so much for letting me review your Mini. It is so nice to be back into a car that brings back so many great memories of that John Cooper Works. To this day, that car still impresses me, and this one does the same thing. It might not be as razor sharp as the John Cooper Works that I remember, but it's still a very good car. So the conclusion, yeah, I think this would be a contender if you're looking for a hot hatch. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll see you on the flip side. There's some torque there, my boys. I heard it. Man, it's hilarious. This car is so much fun. You still hear that exhaust though. You let off. I'm still in fourth gear.
Are you in sport mode at all or no?
Oh, it doesn't say that we're in sport here. It says traction control is off.
And you haven't heard the disgustingness of the full potential of this exhaust yet.
The Golf that I reviewed had a patty metal. Camera, I hope.
No, it looks like we got a little bit of a guts right there in the middle. So,
are you gonna lose against this, or is he turn? Okay, good. Excellent. We probably, I don't know. It all depends.
If it's a 350, I might have him, depending if he's tuned or not.
That could just be a set of pipes. People say they hate the sound of a straight piped VQ, but
they actually sound pretty beautiful.
I know.
I'll be honest.
I shouldn't say that, you know.
No,
but
it's a sin.
I know it's a sin, but I still do. It's a chick driving it. What do you know? Confirmed chick car.
Gonna have to grow my hair out now.
Yeah. I used to have long hair until I started losing it. STI? Nope. Regular WRX. Needs some paint work, but it's still a WRX. Not a Mini.
Yep, R53.
Yeah. Stocky though.
Yeah. That's the same WRX.
That boxer sound is nice though. See, I love being a car enthusiast because it's like everything you come across is like, okay, everyone has their opinions, but I'll never, bash someone else's car. That's just not my style.
No, there's just if you're a true car enthusiast, you appreciate all cars, and it doesn't matter if it's a Toyota Celica, from a '98 Celica to a Lamborghini. It's the love of the way the car runs, the way that it works, the sound, every little bit of it, and that's a true car enthusiast to me. And you just can't bash on somebody's car unless they're your friend.
Yeah, then
do it all day.
Yeah, all day, every day. Oh man, I love doing that stuff. It's freaking hilarious.
The GTI guy that you reviewed, Nick, every time, because I work with him, so we roll home all the time together, and he always tries to talk shit. So I'm like, okay, but does your car do this? And I'm in idle, and I'll just rev it, and it backfires, and his car does not, and he just puts his head down and rolls forward.
That GTI was nice though.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's flawless almost. The acceleration, it's the same every time. Here, you could have great acceleration or not as much at all. You hose up the shift.
He needs to get better at launching for sure, because that's his biggest struggle. Because in every race that I raced him at TSP Slam, when I was drag racing him, I beat him every time. He cannot launch his car.
Oh, the one time that I raced him, you know, no one will ever see that. But the moment that the light went, I pulled on him, and that was it. And then he stayed right there, and he kind of like gained ground, because every time I shift, just like hit him, just keeping that momentum, and I just lose momentum, and then at the top end, you know, I know he has the top end on me. Yeah.
He does the same.
We didn't get there though, because there was no room on a closed airstrip.